Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Hello and congratulations. You have arrived at the second half. I'm your host, Cinder Coleman Miller. Connect with us every Thursday at 10 o'clock a.m. on the New Orleans Talk Network as we discuss issues pertaining to the most exciting and prolific generation of our times, the baby boomers. So for information, resources, and booming entertainment, meet us at the second half, brought to you by the Boomers Lifestyle Network.
I'm living my life like it's golden, living my life like it's golden, living my life like it's
and love your significant other, those of you who are not in a relationship but just love yourself, and those of you who just love everybody, happy Valentine's Day. And for all of us folks in Louisiana and Mississippi and parts of East Texas that like to claim Louisiana for once in a while, happy Mardi Gras to you, because we had a great Mardi Gras yesterday. It was wonderful. We went to the Zulu parade, walked around the city, listened to music, ate, just had a good time. That's what Mardi Gras is all about. It's just a big old party. And so we had such fun, but now it's time to get back down to business. So here we are once again with a new edition of Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. I am your hostess with the mostest, Ms. Rhonda M. Lawson. And tonight, as I mentioned on Facebook earlier, we have two awesome guests who are in love with literacy. So tonight we have Ms. Lynette Edwards. We're going to be talking with her and her books that she has out right now and some of her upcoming events. And then we're also going to be talking with Felicia Young, who is the CEO of Higher Minds of Education. So if you have a teenager or if you have a younger child who's going to be getting ready for high school soon, you definitely want to listen to what Felicia has to say, because she will be talking about preparing for college and preparing now for college. I had to enlist her help with getting my daughter ready for school and filling out the FAFSA, the financial aid forms and everything, and she was a big help in that. But before we get into that, I would love to introduce you to Miss Lynette Edwards. So are you there, Miss Lynette?
Valentine's Day to you.
She's coming. Nope, that's not Lynette.
Can you hear me?
Okay, so we're as we're working on that, we're going to get Miss Lynette in. Just to let you know that Lynette's going to be one of the featured authors for the Black History Month New Orleans Literary Weekend. And she is, I'm just excited about having her. She is a Louisiana native, so you know how we are about supporting our own and supporting our local authors. And I'm so happy to have Lynette as a part of this weekend, because she is a local author, not from New Orleans specifically, but in Louisiana. So I'm going to let her tell you a little bit more about that. So there you are, Lynette. How you doing today?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Yes, ma'am. Happy Valentine's Day to you all.
Oh, thank you, and happy Valentine's Day to you. So tell us about this. I was just telling our audience how you are a Louisiana native. So tell us about that, Miss Homegrown.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Gilbert, Louisiana. It's actually a few hours away from New Orleans. I've lived in Louisiana for life, and raised. And so even though I'm not from New Orleans, I'm a Louisiana native. So glad to be with you.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, you may not be from New Orleans, but you are from Louisiana, and we love our Louisiana authors, and I'm ecstatic when we have Louisiana authors on the show. So let's go ahead and just jump right in there. I've been promoting that you have a book called Take Off the Mask, but you also have other books out right now. Which one is your latest book, your latest novel?
The last book I've written is called Playing Fire. It's actually part three of a three-book series. It's actually the one and only series. That book was written and published in 2016. So that's the last book I have. Take Off the Mask was actually written and published in 2012. But that's the book that reached national level, and that's the book that I've been on tour for.
Real quick, Lynette, if you could do me a favor, I think we can hear a little feedback from your computer. Can you turn your computer all the way down?
Okay.
Yeah, turn it all the way down. You can mute it if you want, and that way it doesn't mess up what you're trying to say.
Is that better?
Much better, thank you. All right, so you were just telling us about your last book, and I'm sorry, what was the name of it again?
Playing with Fire. It's volume 3 from a book series. It's part of the One Night Only series. And that book is more of a Christian fiction. It tells the story of a young lady who just wants to have fun, but doesn't quite want to lose herself in the midst of it.
Okay.
And so that book, actually, we had the first volume of the book turned into a stage play out in Lafayette, Louisiana last year. And so I'm looking to do some more works with that book, but that's actually the last book that I've written. I'm currently working on an interactive journal that is set to be released in May. I'm hoping to get that out soon to you.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Well, when you're ready for that book, you can come right back on the show and to promote it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. So now, I called you an inspirational author. Are all of your books on an inspirational realm, or do you kind of go back and forth with how you write your books?
All 7 are inspirational. I like writing inspirational stories. Some are fiction, some are nonfiction, but they're all inspirational. It's kind of my therapy. It's kind of how I release. It's kind of how, it makes me feel better when I'm writing it. And so definitely inspirational, all 7 of them. Even the upcoming interactive journal, that'll also be inspirational.
Wonderful. Okay, so now tell me about because you're also a certified life coach. Is that a part of your ministry, or are those 2 separate plateaus?
It's 2 separate. I would love to, combine them one day, but as of now, it's 2 separate areas. The journal is going to be more geared toward the life coaching and the mentoring. We all have to find our way. Some of us it takes longer than others, and so I just like life coaching because it kind of helps. It kind of helps to mentor. We've all made mistakes, so just to kind of help those who are starting out or who are new, or just to be able to try to get them on the level that they need to be, so they can try to have their roadmap to find their way in life.
Yes. All right. So tell me, when it comes to life coaching, I mean, sometimes that can have a negative connotation. People will say, yeah, you're a life coach. Mm-hmm. Tell me exactly what a life coach is, because I think some people may have a wrong interpretation of what a life coach actually does.
Right. And let me just say, there are many different types of life coaches. But the main goal of a life coach is to help you find your purpose. It really is to just try to help you. A lot of times we kind of get scatterbrained and we're all over the place, and a life coach just really helps you to find things that you're looking to do right now, things that you can target, that you can help with. If you have areas that you're not good at, that you need strengthening, life coach just kind of help strengthen you and try to help get you and guide you in the right direction.
Well, how does a person really know that they need a life coach?
Well, it just depends on where you're at in your life. I know a lot of people who have struggled with depression. A lot of times they'll go to a life coach because they just haven't found their way, so they just need somebody to come and help them and give them that direction. There's others that just need help with goal setting. A lot of the clients that I've actually had, that's really their genre. They just need help with goal setting. They just need somebody to help motivate them and help hold them accountable so that they can reach goals and make it to a different level in their lives. So if you don't feel you need it, you may not. You may be already where you need to be, but there are some people that just struggle and they just need that extra push, and that's where the life coach comes in.
Okay, and then last question on life coaching. What is the difference between a life coach and, let's say, a psychologist or a psychiatrist?
A life coach simply helps you to get to that next level. A psychologist, or a psychiatrist rather, either way, they're pretty much on the mindset. They're trying to get you holistically. Life coaching, they do have some life coaches that specifically work with holistic services, but mostly they don't. A lot of it's goal setting and they're just trying to get you to that next level. Whereas a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a licensed therapist, they work on holistic services.
Right. Okay, that's very interesting. So I hope that clarifies a lot of misconceptions about what a life coach actually is and what a life coach actually does. Because, I don't want people to think that this is just a catchphrase that some people just woke up one day and said, I'm going to be a life coach. There's actually a lot of training that goes into it and a lot of thought that goes into how you assist your patients, or not your patients, but your clients.
Correct.
Okay. So now let's get back to your books. So you said some of your books are on a spiritual realm. Well, actually, I think you said all of your books are basically on the spiritual realm. But do you ever use some of your experiences from life coaching to write your stories?
Actually, I'm just now starting to. Before I didn't in the past, but now I'm slowly starting to. I just want to be careful not to confuse the two or not to put it in the genre. So I'm kind of careful with that. But all of the past books, neither one have conflicted with the other. The past books are all some type of my inspirational journey.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So what books will you be promoting when you come to New Orleans in a couple of weeks?
I will have Take Off the Mask. I'm looking to also have Uncompromising Love, since we're so close to Valentine's Day, and that book, Infamous Love. And then I'll also bring a couple of books from the One Night Only series.
Awesome, awesome. So, yeah, we are close to, this is Valentine's Day, but we're still going to be fairly close to it when you come on the 23rd and 24th. So I love the fact that you're going to bring some books that still have to do with love, because some of us are still going to be on that high. Some people are going to still be like, all right, I want to get away from Valentine's Day. So, I mean, I love it that you're going to bring those books. So, what do you think, what is the message that you want to get across? Let's scratch that. Which one is your favorite of the three? Or it's like picking your favorite child, isn't it?
I guess the one that I am closest to would be Take Off the Mask, just because I've struggled for a long time taking off my personal mask and being who I am without judgment. And so Take Off the Mask is definitely one that's really close to me.
Yeah, actually, that's the one. I guess I promote that one so much with your name because that's the one that really, truly struck me when I saw the title, because many of us do wear masks. We paint ourselves a certain way when we go out into public, and then we don't always realize how much damage we may do to ourselves. Because when we get back home, everything that we've been trying to hide from the public, we have to face that when we're by ourselves. And many times I don't think we always know how to deal with that. And sometimes we wind up not even being honest with ourselves about our true feelings because we've worn that mask so much.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. So is that kind of what you kind of what you deal with in the book?
Yeah, we talk about, pulling the mask off one layer at a time, getting to know who you are. Of course, self-love is very, very important. A lot of times we look for love in the wrong places, and it causes issues in the future. And so the book really just talks about loving who you are, knowing that you are wonderfully made, and learning to just walk freely, not be scared, not be fearful. Just know that you can go anywhere and do anything just as you are.
Wonderful. Well, I'm certainly looking forward to reading that book and all your other books. We're going to take a quick break, but when we get back, I would like for you to maybe talk about, I know we talked about Take Off the Mask, but maybe talk a little bit about your writing process and about just about what you deal with your other books. So we'll be right back. You stay right there, and you audience, you stay right there as well. We'll be right back.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Hello and congratulations. You have arrived at the second half. I'm your host, Cinder Coleman Miller. Connect with us every Thursday at 10 o'clock a.m. on the New Orleans Talk Network as we discuss issues pertaining to the most exciting and prolific generation of our times, the baby boomers. So for information, resources, and booming entertainment, meet us at the second half, brought to you by the Boomers Lifestyle Network.
I'm living my life like it's golden, living my life like it's golden, living my life like
divorce, separation, poverty, financial lack, financial need. Most issues that we're not dealing with in the church setting. But thank the Lord, there's an answer coming for you through the Forgiven Show, hosted by me, Evangelist Melanie Pichon. Stay tuned as we will meet you weekly, every Thursday, to discuss and give answers to the situations and the challenges that you're facing. Remember, show starts January 18th, 2018.
And we're back. So while we were gone, right now we're talking with Miss Lynette Edwards, author of Take Off the Mask, who will be here in New Orleans for the Black History Month New Orleans Literary Weekend, February 23rd and 24th. But while we were gone, I happened to check our live feed on Facebook. As you know, we are live on Facebook, live on Periscope, as well as the New Orleans Talk Network, as well as YouTube. So I hope you were listening in one of those areas. But we had a few people who kind of chimed in to tell you, to give you a few greetings and to tell you that they love you. We had Brandy Nicole, who said you're an awesome author. Latanya LaFleur Riggs said that she loves this author. And then Janella Arvey says that you are her favorite author in the world and she is so proud of you.
Awesome.
Yeah, so you have some fans out there. Isn't that, I love it when people come in and actually support their authors. I think it's a beautiful thing. So let's talk a little bit about your process. How do you get into writing your stories?
I'm actually an emotional writer. It's a little funny because I'm not a traditional writer. Every book that I've ever written happened unplanned. I have to be going through something. I have to be, going through a certain period of my life. And then I just go to the drawing board and I begin to write. It's kind of like my therapy. It's the way I release. And so when I actually wrote the first book, I said, okay, I'm not writing again. This is not for me. And then went through a life change, a huge event, and just began to write. And so that's just how I release. I never know if I'm going to write again or not. It just kind of happens. Every book has happened quickly. Once I start writing, it's like I just have to get it all out. But I never know when I'll be able to write again. It just happens. And so I'm grateful for the opportunity. But unfortunately, I'm not the traditional writer. I just can't pick up the pen and start writing.
Oh, totally understand that. So now what made you get into your first book? Because you mentioned that after you wrote your first book, you didn't think that you would write again. But then you began to, of course, write because you wrote 6 more after that.
Right.
But what made you decide that you wanted to write? What was it? Did something happen, or was there some message that you needed to get out?
No, I actually, a family member gave a book to me. It was a book of inspirational women. And she said, look, you should read this book. It makes me think of you because you're always trying to be positive and inspire others.
Yes.
And so instead of reading the book, I said, I bet if I wanted, I can write my own inspirational book. And I actually just said it out of a whim, not thinking anything of it. And so I got on a blank computer screen and I just started typing, and the rest is kind of history, just kept on coming and flowing. And so I wrote my first book. I made a lot of mistakes along the way. And so I said, you know what, I'm just not going to write again. You know, I hadn't learned the business. I didn't know anybody else at the time who was writing or who had published books. And so I said, I'm never writing again. And then life happened, and I was filled with emotions. I didn't know how to release emotions, and so I just started writing again. And so that's how Take Off the Mask came about.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, now you say you just kind of sit at the computer screen and write. Do you have an idea where okay, I'm going to write about XYZ, and then you start to write, or do you just kind of sit there and just let the thoughts flow? What do you actually do?
It's actually each situation is different. I'll take Uncompromising Love, for example. I was actually at a church retreat, and we were watching Passion of the Christ. And that's just something that I couldn't stomach certain parts of the movie. And so I just became emotional, and I just started pacing back and forth and back and forth. And I just needed to release some of the anger, because I was like, you know, love is real love. You know, you don't betray real love. And so because of that, I started writing Uncompromising Love, about what real love is, and about how it, you know, there are sacrifices made with real love, and we don't betray when we have real love within us.
Yes, yes. I'll tell you, I saw Passion of the Christ, and I don't think I'd ever be able to sit through that movie again.
Yes. No.
Yeah, that was a really heavy movie, and you know, just to imagine if even half of that is what Jesus went through, then you know, I know why I serve him. So that was really disturbing for me to watch. So I'm glad that it actually motivated you to channel that feeling positively and put it in a book, because now you're able to be a blessing to other people.
Exactly.
So now you also mentioned that this was your first book. You didn't know anybody in the industry. You didn't really know how to write a book. Well, how did you get the book out there? Because something had to make you say, okay, I know a little something now.
Right. So I actually just started doing basic research, you know, just trying to see how to become an author, what do I need to do, things like that. I kind of went to the Better Business Bureau just to try to see how I can get some work done. And so after a lot of research, I was able to do it, because my first book was published in 2011. And so at the time, social media was not nearly as big as it is now.
Yes.
And so it was a little bit harder, took a little bit longer in order to find the processes. But eventually, after a lot of research, I was able to get it done.
Okay, so that's awesome that you actually did the research. So yes, you may have made some mistakes along the way, but it sounds like you actually learned from those mistakes and was able to build upon them.
Yes.
That's the way to do it. You're doing the right thing, girl. You're on the right track. Because now here you are, 7 books in, and it looks like you've been, people are really resonating with your message. People have been contacting you and asking you to make appearances. Is that correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually, this upcoming weekend, I'll be at the Soiree Family Book Festival in Lake Charles, Louisiana. And then after doing the literary weekend, a few weekends later, I'll be in South Carolina at a literary affair. And in June, I'll be in New York City at a book promotion. So I've definitely been out there. People have been contacted and wanted to get on board. So it's definitely a blessing.
Well, you're definitely doing your thing. So congratulations on that. I'm really love it when authors, they take the craft seriously, and it sounds like that's what you're doing. You're all into this, and you're moving forward, and people are receiving the message. So kudos to you on that.
Thank you.
You're so very welcome. You're welcome. All right, so now you mentioned this weekend you have an event. Can people attend that event? Is that open to the public?
Yes, it is open to the public. It's the Family Book Festival. It's in Lake Charles, Louisiana, at the School of Arts. So it is an open event. It's all day from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. I'll be there as one of the featured authors. I'll have books out. We'll do some signing, things of that nature. So it's definitely an open event.
Wonderful. Okay, so if you have flyers for that event, feel free to post them in the chat under the video, so people who are watching the show can come out and support you.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're so very welcome. And so now we mentioned a couple of times that you're going to be here in New Orleans, and you're going to be taking part in a free writers workshop that will happen on the 23rd. over at the Norman Meyer Library. Is there some type of message that you want to get across to the future writers who may be in the audience?
Definitely. Just don't stop. I like the hashtag keep pushing. Writing is more than just putting a pen to a paper. It takes time, it takes commitment, but if you continue to push forward, you could definitely get your written word across. There's a lot of people who love, to be able to read and are inspired through written words. So just never give up, keep pushing, and know that if you take the time and if you actually do the research, awesome things can come from it. And so just never give up, keep writing. Somebody's waiting to hear your story.
Yes. Now, with that, because you're saying never give up, and we didn't really hit on it as much, but what were some challenges that you faced that may have made you ask yourself, why am I doing this? Should I give up?
One of my books is called Still Standing. It's actually the 4th book that I've written. I actually wrote 32 chapters and somehow lost it.
Oh, no.
And so I literally had to start from scratch. And so I said that I'm done. It just means that this book does not need to be written. And so I literally stopped writing. I stopped writing for about 6 months. And during that time, life happened, so to speak. My dad passed away. And so I was going through a lot of emotion. And again, I'm an emotional writer. And so, in order to release that emotion, I had to start writing again. And so I started writing again with the book Still Standing. And I ended up getting that book published and did some great work with that book. And so I just feel like had I given up, I would have never known what I could accomplish. But because I kept pushing, I was able to not only write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 books, but I have 7 published and 2 more on the way.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, I've always said that you never know what you can do until you try. Right. And it sounds like this was something you didn't think you'd be able to do. And right. You've not only been able to do it, but you're continuing to do it. You're continuing to learn from it, and you're continuing to build upon it. We got another message as we were talking. Actually, 2 more. Kayla said, can't wait to see what's next in store for you. And then Precious Boudreaux said that she absolutely loves all of your books as well as the stage play. So people are really receiving your message. This is awesome. You have some great people supporting you.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're such a quiet young lady. But that's okay, though. That's okay, because when I meet you next week, I'm going to make you smile more. You're going to laugh. And we're going to have to get that little quiet bug out, because you have a lot of events coming up. And I'm saying this as a person who's written 5 books and has been sitting there, and I've had people tell me, well, I'm going to buy your book because I just enjoy talking to you. So I had to get out there, and I wasn't about to do tap dances and stand on my head to get them to buy a book, but I did make sure that they felt comfortable, and I made them laugh, and I made them smile, and I made them feel comfortable, and they wanted to buy a book. So we're gonna do some of that. In fact, I think I'm gonna do a Facebook video about that. So you'll be looking for that between now and the Black History Month Literary Weekend. We're gonna talk about that. But we have about 30 seconds left. Is there any message that you would like to give the listeners? And there are quite a few people who tuned in to hear you. So what message would you like to give them?
Just stay inspired. Life is not always easy, but you just never give up. You never know what tomorrow will bring, and so just stay inspired. Keep smiling, keep thinking positive thoughts, and just know that nobody can stop you from the very best. You're the only person that can do it. So never give up and stay inspired. Awesome,
awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it. I enjoyed talking with you, and I cannot wait to meet you on the 23rd.
Likewise.
Thank you so much. Now, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to meet Miss Future Dr. Felicia Young, and she's going to be talking about her organization, Higher Minds of Education. But before we leave, I have one quick question for you. Who is the first African American to win gold in the Winter Olympics? If you know who that is, message it up, put it in the Facebook feed, and we'll talk about it when we get back. So stay right there.
Y'all know me, this is a people person here.
Big homie head.
It's your boy Fred.
This man, big fan.
Right. Listen, we're your host of the New Orleans Talk Network's Fan View. Real fans talk, real sports. Check us out every Thursday night, 6 p.m.
We're back. Talk What You Know returns on Wednesday mornings at 8 a.m. We got a brand new co-host by the name of Bob B. And hey, that's me. Also, we got some new features. We're going to be giving away, have a weekly raffle of prizes. There are multiple ways for you to win, and there's a bevy of prizes. So we need you to come on back, join us on Wednesday mornings at 8 o'clock for Talk What You Know on the New Orleans Talk Network.
Here at Jones Insurance, your full-service agency, let us take care of all your insurance needs. We provide homeowners insurance, flood, rental, commercial, auto, and life insurance. Don't let the unexpected tragedy destroy your family's future. Here at Jones Insurance, 7603 West Bank Expressway, Monroe, Louisiana, 772. Contact Lois at 504-348-1492.
The New Orleans Talk Network, now on your mobile device, on your computer, in your ear, and interactive. It's new, it's innovative, and it's on your mobile device. Android, iPhone, iPad, and on your computer. Take us wherever you go. Because we're interactive. 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255.
What's up, readers and shakers? It's your girl, Rhonda M. Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the best in literary conversation. Each week, a different author will join us to talk to their most important readers, you. You can also call in to ask your own questions. So don't forget, each Wednesday at 7 p.m., join us in the lounge for Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. See you there. Are back. So I see that some people are attempting to answer the question, and it's not exactly John Baxter Taylor Jr. We're talking the Winter Olympics, and this person, I'll give you a hint, is a speed skater. He's actually competing this year in this year's Olympics. So hopefully that will give you a little bit of a hint. But right now we're going to go ahead and say hello to our future Dr. Felicia Young. Hey lady, how are you?
How about you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, happy to, happy to. So tell me something about Higher Minds of Education.
Higher Minds of Education is an educational consulting company which was created to help students and parents prepare for college and to be financially prepared for college.
Yes. And that is a big item, because there are probably a lot of brilliant minds out there whose parents had not really expected the financial burden that college can often bring. And because they may not have received scholarships, now these kids can't go to college, or maybe they can't go to the college of their choice because they weren't financially prepared.
Right. Or many of them have had to take out loans and become, in debt at such an early age.
Yes, yes. And I was actually, my daughter has been accepted to a couple of different colleges, and one of the colleges that she was accepted to cost about $50,000 a year. And
wow.
Yes, a lot. And even though we have military benefits that are going to help with a good portion of it, and they also gave her a $5,000 scholarship, that still almost didn't scratch the surface for the amount of money that they wanted each year. And so I told him that, hey, this is a school that we may not be able to afford to send her to if we don't get the scholarships that we applied for. And his response to me was to go to this site where I could apply for a loan for the amount of money that that was going to take to send her there. And I'm sitting here like, well, financial aid forms came in. They're already giving me student loans. So now you want me to take out another student loan to cover the rest of the money? That's a lot. And I'm trying to send her to school debt free. I don't want to even get the college or the loans that we were able to get through the FAFSA. So I know I'm not going to take another $30,000 loan to pay this off.
And that was just for 1 year.
Yes, that's just 1 year.
Right. I've seen countless parents come in and feel forced to apply for loans because they brought their kids to school. They assumed they had enough money, but they didn't. So what do? Take your child back home?
Right.
Or do you apply for the loan?
Exactly. And that's something that a lot of people are having to make a decision for. And it's unfortunate. I mean, because, yes, there are a lot of scholarships out there for, less fortunate kids who may not have a lot of money. There are academic scholarships out there. But what about the student who may have had good enough grades to get them into school, so they may not be able to get the academic scholarship, but the government sees them as too rich for certain other scholarships. Now they're not sure where to turn. But there are scholarships out there.
Yes, there are. That's why I advise many of my students and parents to prepare early. 8th, 9th grade is not too early to start looking for scholarships, just to kind of have an idea of what's out there. You need to start early. When your student decides what their major may be or what they're interested in, it's kind of time to start making a spreadsheet of different scholarships that may be available. Even if those aren't available at the time that your student applies, that they will give them an idea of where to look and what to look for. Start early. I say this a million times, start early with everything.
Yes. Now, here's another question, though. When I talked to the gentleman at the school, he did say, I told him, I said, if our scholarships come through that we applied for, then we'll definitely consider your school. And he said, well, I will give you a tip. Try to apply for the scholarships that are a little bit harder to apply for, because everybody's going to be applying for the easy scholarships, but the ones that maybe require a 750-word essay versus a 500-word essay, or the ones that want 3 letters of recommendation or things like that, a lot of kids may not apply for that because it may seem like it's more trouble. So there may be less competition for the harder scholarships.
I agree. What I advise students to do when looking for scholarship is to actually look for the scholarships in unknown places. A lot of your parents have companies that give scholarships. They may be for $200 or maybe $500, and no one ever applies for them. You have sororities that give out scholarships. You have people at your church. Like, you have to ask about those small scholarships.
Yes.
Everyone applies for the Bill and Melinda Gates. Everyone is going to apply for them because it's a large amount. But if you get a lot of small scholarships, that can really help you out.
Yes, that builds up. $500 here and $1,000 there. If you're just putting all of that into an account and not touching it until it's time for college, then yes, it will build up.
Correct.
Now, as many people who watch the show know, I am a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. And when I was the president of our chapter in Belgium, we established a scholarship. We used to give 2 $1,000 scholarships each year. And the first year I gave that scholarship, I was almost a little disappointed because I felt like the 2 kids who got the scholarship didn't really need the money. One had just received a full ride scholarship, and the other one, because we were in an international community, the other student was Greek. And I was like, in Greece, you go to college for free. And I was like, oh, these kids don't need this money. And I was a little disappointed at first. But then somebody talked to me, and they said, they actually do need that money, especially the young man who's in Greece, because, yes, he might be going to college for free, but he still needs money to purchase books. And a lot of times people don't realize that. Even when you have a full scholarship, many times kids need that money for other things that we may not be thinking about. You have kids who are going into college on athletic scholarships, and they don't have money to eat many times because they can't go out and get a job. Their parents may not have been able to afford to send them to college in the first place. So they may have a full scholarship, but there are other ways that that money can be used.
Definitely. Like transportation, you're not going to stay on campus all the time. So you'll need transportation. You can use that money for that. Just going back and forth home, just for simple things that can't, your parents may not have money for, like
Yes.
washing your clothes on campus. You never think about how much it costs to wash your clothes.
Yes.
So just having extra money is very beneficial. That's why I always tell students, apply for those small scholarships, even the ones you think you may not get. You just never know. No one may have applied for them. So you might have a chance at getting the $200 scholarship to help you with at least one book. That will, give a break to your parents.
And you would be surprised at the amount of scholarships that kids just aren't applying for.
Right.
Going back to the scholarship that we did back in Belgium, I hand carried the scholarship packets to the school. The administration made announcements and put them into the newsletter, letting the school know that the scholarship applications were there. And many times we were only getting maybe 2 kids applying for the scholarship. So it was very easy to decide who was going to get that money.
Right. That happens often. When I was in high school, we had a scholarship that was maybe like $1,000 for the seniors. No one applied for it. So the day before the due date, they came into our classrooms and they made us fill out those applications. Like, students don't think about how important it really is. That is money, like hardcore money that you can spend to help with your education. You have to apply, but just a lot of times they just think it's unimportant.
Right. And I tell people all the time, don't make the mistake that I did. By the time I was in my senior year, I was so tired of writing, and believe it or not, I'm a writer, but I was so tired of writing essays and reports and everything. I was looking for scholarships that didn't require me writing an essay, and after a while, I said, I'm not applying for these scholarships. And then I get accepted to this school, very prestigious school, Loyola University, and I wished I had applied for the scholarships when I should have. Because then it wouldn't have been too late. I would have had the extra money. I did have some scholarship money when I went to college, but just think about how much more I could have had if I hadn't gotten lazy. And I think that's why I stay behind my daughter so much. I'm like, hey, I know you're tired of this. I know you feel overwhelmed, but this is important. Fill out these scholarship applications. I even told her, you fill out 3 a day. And then, let them turn you down. Fill out 3 a day until we get to the end of the school year, because you're going to need every bit of that money.
Yeah, that's the reason why I created my company, is to help those students and parents have a safe place to come to discuss scholarship applications and financial aid options, just so they wouldn't get bogged down by the, enormous information that's out there. I wanted to help those parents be prepared.
Yes, and it is a lot of information. I know it can be overwhelming, but that's what it's all about. It pays off in the long run. They say, you appreciate the things you work hardest for.
Right, definitely.
Okay, so we have about a minute before we go to break, but tell me how Higher Minds of Education actually works. How do you help people to find these scholarships?
Okay, I have been out doing fairs and going into school districts, just trying to reach out to parents and students. But what I do specifically is help students fill out their FAFSA, as well as look for scholarships. And for younger students, I also do educational plans. And that's kind of where we discuss what things you're interested in and how do we get you to graduation, your senior graduation into your freshman year of college. So we create an entire plan, a 4-year plan, where we get you there. So that's what we do at Higher Minds of Education.
Wonderful. So you take kids as young as 13?
Yes.
Okay, and then so normally 13 years old is about 8th grade. So once they're in the 8th grade, they can start working with you all the way through high school then.
Correct. That way we can get started thinking about what things they're interested in, what clubs they're a part of in school, because you have clubs where they may do scholarships. Like we have 4-H club, just those different types of things. So that way we can kind of get them acclimated to knowing that you need to join different clubs, because this is a way to pay for college, as well as summer internships, just to give them an opportunity to understand you need to have a plan in life. Because a lot of times students go to college and they get there, but they don't know what to do once they're there. We're trying to help them have a plan moving forward.
Right, because I may know that all I want to do when I get to college is play basketball.
Right.
So, all right, so what happens? All right, I'm playing basketball. What do you mean I have to major in something? What do I want to major in now? And so they need to be prepared. And I also tell people they have to be mentally prepared. And we'll talk about that. And we're going to take a quick break. And because I really, really want to touch on this. But don't forget to answer that question. Who is the first African American to win gold, individual gold, in the Winter Olympics? So answer that question. We have a nice prize for you.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
What's up, readers and shakers? It's your girl, Rhonda M. Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the best in literary conversation. Each week, a different author will join us to talk to their most important readers, you. You can also call in to ask your own questions. So don't forget, each Wednesday at 7 p.m., join us in the lounge for Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. See you there. And I see people are trying to answer this question. I'm going to give y'all another hint. If you go to the Meet the World Image Solutions Facebook page, I actually posted the answer to that question already today. So go to the Meet the World Image Solutions Facebook page, look for the blue boxes that say Black History Month Trivia Contest, and you will find the answer. I mean, that's the biggest hint I can give y'all, okay? But I really want somebody to get that answer because I really have a nice gift for you. All right, so, and no, it's not Vanetta Flowers, but it's actually a man. I think I can give you that hint too. So go ahead and look for that answer. And while we're talking about Black History, make sure you tune into the Meet the World Image Solutions Facebook page each day at 10 a.m. Every day at 10 a.m. All month, I'm hosting a different Black History Month question. And there are prizes for the person who wins actually everybody who plays, if they get the answer right, they get put into a drawing, and then we draw the winner, and the winner receives a gift. We've had some people who have been absolutely killing it the last couple of weeks. They get the answers, they've been sharing the Facebook post, and we've been getting some really great information. So make sure you go to the Meet the World Image Solutions Facebook page. Check it out because I want you to be a part of the contest. I want you to be a part of the conversation. So we're going to go ahead and continue talking with Miss Felicia Young. Now, before we went to break, I was saying that aside from being financially prepared for college, it's also important for students to be mentally prepared for college. You know, they might have their degree, they might have the money together, but sometimes we don't think about the amount of fun that goes into college. We're partying, we're going to all of these different events. You know, maybe we're joining fraternities and sororities. We're doing all kinds of tutoring and working with the kids, and all kinds of stuff is going on. And then all of a sudden, we forget that we had to study.
Did we forget?
We forgot. So, is that something that you talk to the kids about as well?
Well, yeah, that is technically not a part of the program, but it is a part of who I am as a mentor and a mama. So my mama advice to my students is to always do your homework. Life will happen. When you go to college, everything goes crazy. People in your family pass away.
Yes.
money gets tight with your parents, just you break up with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, like it becomes crazy and chaotic. But my advice to them is still go to class and do your homework because at the
Yes.
end of the day, that's why you're there.
Amen. Now, I will tell you, when I was in the Army, I spent 23 years in the Army, and many of us went to college in our off time, and we went on tuition assistance. And what
Right.
a lot of people don't realize with tuition assistance is that you cannot make below a certain grade. If you make less than a C in a class, you have to pay that tuition assistance back. So
Wow.
I'm wondering, does that work? Does that also work with some scholarships or some financial aid that students receive in college? That your traditional students?
Yes. For a lot of scholarships to continue to get them, if they're 4-year scholarships as well as your financial aid, you have to have a certain GPA. To continue to get your Pell Grant and student loans, you have to make sure that you are at least getting a 2.0 for financial aid. You have to maintain a passing GPA. Even for some athletic scholarships, you
Yes.
need to have a certain GPA.
Yeah, and yeah, because even though you might be able to get keep the scholarship, you may not be able to play because you're not passing all of your classes. So that makes you academically ineligible to play. And if you're academically ineligible to play, then you could lose your athletic scholarship because you're not playing.
Correct.
That's a lot. See, so I think this is very important information for anybody who's planning to go to college because it's not just about getting by. You can't just scrape by and still expect to get all of these scholarship dollars and all of these financial aid dollars.
Really, college really prepares you for the working world. Even though it's not like a paycheck, it is like a paycheck because it's preparing you to do the work and be paid for it. So you
Yes.
get the scholarship money by completing the good grades that they ask you to have. So it's something to think about. It's something to encourage students to do because a lot of students in high school just want to get by and graduate, but that's not how you make money. And that's something that I'm actually going to talk about in my spiel to the students for the literary weekend is how school equates to money. And we all love money.
Yes, yes. And that was a wonderful segue because now it's time to talk about the Black History Month Literary Weekend. So, for those of you who don't know, Higher Minds of Education is actually one of our sponsors, and they are sponsoring one of the prizes that's going to be a part of the essay contest. So, we actually had a student that we've selected to win the 8th grade portion of the contest. And his essay is absolutely beautiful. You're gonna love just the way it's read. I couldn't believe it came from an 8th grader because it was very well written. And so I'm not going to say his name right now. I'm going to announce that later. But I do want to say that this student will be receiving $100. The student will have his essay in Swagger Magazine, published in Swagger Magazine, and they're going to get a really special gift from Higher Minds of Education. Do you want to tell us what that gift is, Felicia?
Yes, I am giving a year um, worth of financial assistance and scholarship assistance to the student or an educational plan. So whichever the student chooses is what I'll do. I really think in 8th grade, the educational plan will probably be the best because he'll get the most value from that. But I'm so excited to read his essay.
Yes, I think that's exciting. That is a gigantic gift. I don't think people really realize the value in doing these essay contests and these scholarship applications. I mean, because what you're giving them is worth so much more than just $100.
Right. And I'm so excited to give it away because I want to help students and encourage students to do their best in college because I know what that leads to. That leads to a
Yes,
successful life.
yes. All right, now tell me this now, because you're not actually based in New Orleans. Your company is actually based where again?
In Baton Rouge.
Okay, so if I'm a young 8th, ninth grade student and I live in New Orleans, do I not qualify because I don't live in Baton Rouge?
Oh no, you definitely qualify. Students all over the state qualify. Because
Yes.
we have technology. So we're able to be virtual and New Orleans is right there. And I am really trying to work hard to get into that sector in New Orleans. So no, definitely reach out.
You hear that? If no matter where you are, okay, wait, let me go back. Let's say a student is in Michigan.
No matter where you are, Higher Minds is here to help.
That's what I wanted to hear you say. Okay, so no matter where you are, if you have a student who is college minded, or maybe they're not exactly sure if they want to go to college, maybe what they need to do is contact, I'm sorry?
I said technical schools as well.
Oh, see, there you go. I mean, I think, and I'm glad you said that, because many times I think that we put a lot of pressure, and I was actually talking about this a little earlier with someone. We put a lot of pressure on our kids to get the best education, so to speak, and you notice I'm putting up the quote marks.
Right.
You know, we want them to go to law school or medical school because we want them to become these 6 or 7 figure earners, and we kind of cast our nose down at the more technical industry, or maybe even the creative industry. Like my daughter dreams of being an actress. She's going to college and she's going to get her education, but she wants to be an actress. This is something that she's wanted since she was 12 years old, and she's been working toward that. So no, she's not going to go to school to be a doctor, but that doesn't mean that her education will be any less valuable. You might have a student who may not want to be a doctor or a lawyer, but maybe they want to go to technical school because they want to be I don't know, maybe a plumber or a welder or something like that. They can be the best in their craft at whatever they decide to do in life.
Right, definitely. Especially here in Louisiana, we have a lot of plants where students are able to go directly from high school into those plants and start off making $50,000 and $60,000. That's very exciting, because as a student who graduated with a bachelor's in psychology, I made $25,000. So
Yes.
knowing that you can go and get a technical degree and be able to take care of yourself and your family is very exciting.
Absolutely. It is exciting. And I think for some people, that's what they're thinking about. They're thinking about, I want something I can get my education as quickly as possible and then move on to something that I might enjoy doing, or something that's going to help me to take care of my family now. There are some people who don't have time for 8 to 10 years of education before they start their careers. Or you'll be like Sandra Huxtable, who went to Princeton and then came back and owned a wilderness store.
Right.
That's what she wanted to do. I love that episode when Claire just went off, when Sandra came back and said, we're going to open a wilderness store.
Definitely, because that's what happens. You don't really know what your passion may end up being. So, I mean, I encourage a student who knows early on that they're good with their hands, or, you know, they want to do something technical. I encourage that, definitely.
So how does a parent, because we do have someone who messaged in, she says she has a niece who is 13 and is going to the 9th grade next year. So all of this information was very helpful. But let's say this lady, Felicia, wants to contact you so she can maybe get her niece enrolled into something like this. Or maybe there's another parent who might be listening who maybe didn't chime in, but they may want your services. How do they find you?
Okay, they can definitely find me on my website, which is www.highermindsofeducation.com, or they can reach me at 318-564-8755.
All right, say that phone number one more time.
318-564-8755.
Awesome, awesome. So thank you so much. I cannot believe we're already at the end of this interview. But I want to thank you for joining us tonight, and I cannot wait to have you here for the Black History Month New Orleans Literary Weekend. So thank you for joining us. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you the flyers for those of you who have not heard about the Literary Weekend just yet. On Friday the 23rd, we will be having a writer's workshop. There it is. The writer's workshop will be at the Norman Meyer Library. That is where you're going to meet Felicia Young. And then we also have Mr. Will Kayson, who will be flying all the way in from California. So we need to make sure we pack the house so these two awesome speakers have somebody to speak to. And we're also going to have 8 outstanding authors, and Lynette Edwards was one of them. And here are the authors. Wonderful authors. I cannot wait. And they all come from so many different backgrounds and from different points of view, different perspectives. So make sure that you're there to hear what they have to say. And then on Saturday the 24th at 10:30 in the morning, we will have our literary jazz brunch. You'll still be able to meet the authors, and you're also going to meet the CEO of Swagger Magazine, Francesca Felder, as well as the first African-American female Zen monk in New Orleans, Rose Bratcher. We're going to have Yisrael Music doing live music, live jazz music, and they are awesome if you've not heard them yet. And then we have up-and-coming Chef Dell for Cooking For You, who will be here to give us a 3-course meal, and that meal is awesome. So make sure you're there, and you will have an opportunity to meet all of the authors and get signed books from all of them. And then on the 24th at 7:30, we will have the premiere of Cheating in the Next Room, the stage play. Oh man, we are blessed to have so many wonderful actors in this play. And we're also blessed to have a very strong production team, or excuse me, directorial team, which is, I'm producing, of course, but the director will be Miss Rose Bratcher and Mr. Kirk Bush. And together they have just made this play come alive. They've taken it to an entirely different level. So if you have not gotten your tickets for Cheating in the Next Room or the Jazz Brunch, make sure you go to Eventbrite to order your tickets. That's bhmliteraryweekend.eventbrite.com. So make sure you order your tickets. And we do have combo tickets for those of you who want to go to the brunch as well as the play. So don't forget. And if you are looking for some literary services, don't forget to call on Miss Little Old Me. I am the CEO, the president, everything else you want to call me. I'm a one-person show for Meet the World Image Solutions, and I do speech writing. I also do book coaching. I also do speaking engagements and workshops, and as well as literary publicity. So if you need my assistance, do not hesitate to give me a call. You can also visit my website at www.mtwimagesolutions.com. So that's all we have for tonight. I want to thank all of you for joining us. And I just had a great show. Thank you to Felicia Young. Thank you to Lynette Edwards for joining us tonight. And thank you to the New Orleans Talk Network for giving us an opportunity to showcase our local and independent authors. You all have a wonderful night and have a blessed remainder of the week.